Alright, we are recording. Still ongoing medieval, which got an update. And so I'm showing some of the stuff here, though I find one thing funny. Yeah, you do see the cursor. Camera 2.0. I don't recall seeing anything about that in the press release about the changes. So, I wonder. But yeah, it also gave a different name. Smarter enemies and siege weapons? Was that it? Something like that. But, yeah, so most of the stuff will not impact me. But I shall say, Going Medieval keys are provided by Tinsley PR. Oh, another change is, so originally when I got the key, it was, the publisher was the regular corporation. The logo since disappeared in the opening. Now they've added the logo of their current publisher, Mythright. So that's neat. But I don't think I can start saying keys provided by that since it wasn't associated with that company, at least not to my knowledge, back when I actually received the key. So it's just Tinsley PR. Then I'm going to be saying, yeah, looking through the changes, really, because I don't play with the barbarians and such in this, it's technically passive. Sorry, I just wanted to adjust where this was, where the laptop was, on my desk. Why? I don't recall this fog of war thing. I mean, it's definitely foggy. I don't recall that being the case. But anyway, since a lot of it has to do with that, I'm not going to see much of it, but I do want to see it. You can now build. Here we go. These things. Ballista, Onago, so basically what you typically think about with the catapult, and trebuchet. Yeah, now we do also have these wooden mechanical things, which it's funny, they said that it's like, oh yeah, this is now, like when you start, you'll have them, and it's like, okay, I didn't even know this was a thing. Where did this come from? See, now I'm just curious if they're even... Yeah, here they are. So again, I feel like pointing out defensive structure, defensive structures 2, 3, all the way over, and that requires it. These both require it, but you can unlock these without unlocking wooden weaponry to make. Oh man. This game needs a continuity and coherence overhaul. Like, no other game I can think of at the moment. But to be fair, I'm not so frequently playing another game. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, I just realized, hang on, I should have looked to see, where do you make these? Okay, there. Woodwork bench. I'm sure I have one, I'm just not sure where. It should be in here, right? Ah, that looks like it. No, not the goat. There we go. Why not? Okay. But no, the main thing, well, of the different things that they have in this update, the one that actually matters is now when... What the heck? Did these all get... What the heck happened with that? These all need to be reset for some reason. But anyway, if a animal's killed by one of these traps, well, any trap, its carcass will no longer be marked as forbidden, which that's going to be nice. So I don't need to keep doing that myself. Alright, what else have I got I can talk about? Probably the big thing was GTA 6 dropped trailer 2. It also has been delayed until May 26th, 2026, so next year at the earliest. Let's be real, it's just gonna be whenever. It's like they will delay it again, and think I've said this before about GTA 5, because 2K publishes the GTA games, and it is GTA. Because there was a delay for GTA 5 not long before one of the release dates. And I absolutely do believe that GTA is one of those franchises that if Rockstar or whoever we're doing, it means like, because I'm just speaking about a franchise of that level, would it be like, yeah, I know we said we'd be releasing next month, but yeah, we really need a delay of a few months. GTA is one of those things where the publisher, instead of going, no, you get it out at that time, we can't spend to fix up all the marketing, would be like, okay, would you like us to write you another check? Because it doesn't matter, you know you're going to make the money back. Which is also one thing, just I'd heard that apparently Marvel, in their infinite stupidity, have decided to rename the Thunderbolts movie to now be the New Avengers. Like, after release, it's like, you literally just destroyed all of your marketing on this. Like, all the marketing you did leading up to this, that Thunderbolts this, Thunderbolts that, hey, there's a Thunderbolts poster up on the wall there, hey, we're advertising Thunderbolts at this local theater. Now all that is, somebody goes in, I want to see Thunderbolts. There's no movie called Thunderbolts on the board. What? Then what do we, I don't know. I mean, say, I guess we'll just go home. I mean, it's really, really not something you should ever do. You know, just for help, if I... No? Okay, so in theory, this is just a visual bug. But yeah, you do not do that kind of thing. But GTA, yeah, no, it would be at that level of prestige that, I mean, it doesn't matter. They could just cold drop that thing. It would still end up making probably $10 million on the first day. I'm dead serious. If they would have just be like, yeah, you know what, it's just out now, and that's it, no trailer, nothing, that it would still sell, because that would be, GTA is kind of a phenom of a game, well, franchise, such that somebody will just start talking about it, and then immediately everyone will swarm, start watching it, start buying it. I feel like there was something like that long ago that did the same thing. Oh man, I can't think of it. But yeah, marketing is key, but it's, for some franchises, nah, you could just do that. That is not where Marvel is, though, at all. And I guess I should also mention, there have been other movies that have had titles renamed, but that was typically yeah, we put it out under this title, but no one really watched it, so we tried changing the title, and hey, now people are going to see it. Whereas this thing with, apparently it's Thunderbolts to the New Avengers, it sounds like that's more of a, no, they planned this from the start. Like, there's actually something in the movie that kind of explains it. That's a little bit of a problem. Oh. Well, I guess you can go back to whatever you want to do then. Actually, wait, what's gonna happen? Huh. Okay. They're leaving, but I can still barter with them. Is it anything I could want? Kinda doubt it. Hang on. Before I forget, I want to try looking this up. I want to try looking something up. I'm pretty sure that's it. Yes, okay. Some theory should we talk about? Because there was one movie, when did it come out? 2014? Alright. What are they going to talk about? Okay. There was a movie that... Okay. If you look it up now, it would be Edge of Tomorrow. But I want to say that it was originally titled Live, Die, Repeat, and it did not go well. So they actually changed the name to Edge of Tomorrow, and then it got people more interested, because Live, Die, Repeat does sound kind of generic. Edge of Tomorrow is like, okay, this is something. I was like, even that title would suggest more so what it is, a science fiction movie. Okay, but looking it up... Okay. Yeah. See, unfortunately, looking at the Wikipedia page on this, I'm not... What I'm seeing does not remind me of... is not what I quite remember. Also didn't realize it was from 2014. To give you an idea, it's essentially a roguelike, is the premise to the story, where you... I can take some notes. Yeah, I don't mind being a little taken advantage of, since somebody's just getting rid of things I don't need. Yeah, let's leave those there. And there, I'll just accept what I got here. Yeah, because you got a guy, played by Tom Cruise, who has to defend Earth from invading aliens. He finds himself caught in a time loop, so every time he dies, he just wakes back up, but he still has some skills, so he's able to adapt and continue the fight, and I assume ultimately win. I don't know, I've actually not seen it. Okay. Okay, so what I'm seeing here on Screen Rant, when is this? It's from, I'm just curious. 2019. So apparently, the director wanted to call it Live, Die, Repeat. The executives at Warner Brothers didn't like that. They pushed for it to be Edge of Tomorrow, and they're the executives, they won. But apparently it didn't go over too well. They did use Live, Die, Repeat as like the subtitle. But when it came to home video, whether DVD, Blu-ray, whatever, then they apparently made Live, Die, Repeat so prominent on the cover that it dwarfed Edge of Tomorrow, so it seemed to be the new title. And it even says here, on Amazon, the film is even titled Live, Die, Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow. And that it did seem to produce a more positive response. So, yeah, such renaming does occur, but notice that was for home video, so it would have been months after the original release. So it seems like that needs to be reset. Not a week later we're doing that, and it was to correct an issue, whereas this, as I said, it sounds like, from what I've heard about the movie, because I have no interest in seeing it, it sounds like that just, they planned for this. which is just stupid. I'm sorry, I understand the idea of trying to do something meta like that, but at the same time, it's this whole, what the heck's going on here? Okay. I got no idea. Maybe he just moved ice over? Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, but it's like you can only do a meta thing like that when you already have success. In that people will actually care, but if people don't really care about the movie or franchise at this point, I would say with Marvel, then it's not gonna work. I really would like to fill this up, I just don't know how. Anyway, so it'd be like if, going back to GTA, if they want, and I can talk more about it as well, if they wanted to, okay. Hey. I mean, true, they couldn't change the name from GTA. No, it has to be Grand Theft Auto. But if they wanted to, say, release that, and then, yep. And then add a subtitle or something to it, they could, and it wouldn't damage it. Because you would be, GTA 6 would be sufficiently fine. But the thing is, they couldn't change the core elements of it. That would be the problem. But because everybody knows and recognizes the core elements of GTA, it'll be fine. It would be fine if they did something kind of sort of silly like that. Nope. Nope. There we go. So many ways this game needs and should be improved, needs to be improved. Come on. There we go. I guess kind of a similar concept would be if you were to have a famous author decide to try writing under a pseudonym, so that then it's, or a different pseudonym as the case may be, so that it's not just, oh, people will read me because they know my name, but it's like, okay, if they like this, it's because they actually like it, and that they gave a new author a chance, and turns out it's an author they already know. It would be like that's something, but that's, you don't change it later. It wouldn't be like, oh, wrote under the pseudonym, but since it was popular, okay, I'll go and change it. You wouldn't do that. But I could see some places, I mean, you do that when you're already established, when you're already successful. You don't do that when no one knows who the hell you are, or cares. And from what I've been hearing with the Thunderbolts, yeah, it's, who the hell are you? I mean, legitimately, so many of those characters in there, most people wouldn't know. It's Bucky, yeah. Kind of it, for me at least, because, you know, the last Disney Marvel movie would have been Endgame that I've seen. I have also seen Spider-Man Far From Home and No Way Home, which technically are Sony. It's in the same universe, but it's still technically Sony. So that's, Bucky's the only one from that phase that I would know. Everyone else is from other things, like the Black Widow movie, which, by the way, yeah, that also, they could kind of sort of get away with it, but no. I never had any interest in the Black Widow movie, mainly because, like, well, I know she's ultimately gonna die, and because you show it to us in Endgame, but it's also, pay attention, Endgame, it's murder what they do there, because, like, big, huge funeral memorial thing for Tony Stark's death, and then off to the side, you just have them talking about how, yeah, Black Widow's dead, so's Vision, we're just off here alone talking about it. We're not like, memorializing them at all. It's just now we're over here doing this. It's like, yeah, because Black Widow was coming back in a titular movie for her. And Vision was going to be in WandaVision. So it's like, yeah, these characters coming back, you can't memorialize them. But then it's also like, well, why'd you kill them? Yeah. And that was something that, no, I don't think they got away with it, actually. In part because Endgame did too good a job ending the story that I was like, legitimately, after Endgame, I didn't care anymore. I'm just like, okay, yeah, I'll look at the Spider-Man things, but it's all going to be just piecemeal from that point on. It's not like oh, I got to watch the next one to find out what's happening. No, you killed that and you didn't try to build up something new. Like, that would have been time to pause things and get to... I don't think that they had Fox yet, but, like, wait, or maybe try to secure getting the X-Men, get them going, get Fantastic Four going, things like that. But the core Avengers, you let them rest. They did not do that. Yeah, I should also come back to GTA 6. Yeah, I already mentioned the release date is now next year, which may or may not mean anything because they may just delay it some more. But also the trailer, it does say in the description of it, is comprised of both gameplay and cutscenes. But importantly, it was captured on a PS5. So if you think the game looks good, bear in mind that is something being achieved with modern hardware and potentially even I don't remember, is the PS5 Pro a thing? I don't follow the console news that closely. And I know that like one was being worked on, or at least there are rumors of it. I just don't know if it actually came out. Oh wait, no, it must have, because I know I've seen criticisms about, wow, this is all Pro gets you. And they just said PlayStation 5, which, to be fair, that could be a marketing gimmick that I hate. Because I've seen this with some games, with some press releases, where it's like, and this game is coming on Xbox and PlayStation. It's like, okay, which ones? Are you saying Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S? PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5? Or are you just talking about the current generation? So it could be like, no, it's coming in the PlayStation 5 class, which would be PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 5 Pro. So, but still, they are... Everything that you're seeing there is, in theory, on PlayStation 5, either way. And that, in a way, is a good sign, because I could believe that Rockstar will be a studio still that tries to optimize its games. Because, I mean, let's face it, there's a lot of games that they're not bothering to optimize their graphics at all. I just realized I need to mess with this. Well, actually, no, that's fine. That's fine. I can do that. You know what? Fine. Oh yeah, mining definitely should be turned down. Yeah, I can do that. So it's tailor and research. All right. But yeah, various games where it's like, oh yeah, we'll just, have frame generation in it. That's how we're getting high frame rates. It's like, but they're fake frames and it's not feeling good. Well, we're gonna do this. It's like, that's not a good idea. Well, we're gonna do this. I mean, it also reminds me, I was seeing something because of apparently AMD's put out an SDK update for Philadelphia FX3, and I was seeing people talk about how, oh yeah, some of the stuff you can only solve with AI cores. It's like, you have no idea what you're talking about. I was like, I'm never not gonna be annoyed, irritated, frustrated by what NVIDIA has achieved by being one of the world's best marketing companies, but not necessarily a great technology company. And by that I mean more so, they are way better at marketing than they are at technology. Because they've convinced so many people that, no, you have to use tensor cores for this work. It's like, no, you don't. Because like the thing I was seeing was somebody saying that, oh yeah, you need AI cores to address the shimmering and such, as you can see. It's like, The Witcher 3, when it got up its next-gen update, and I did comparisons between FSR and DLSS, FSR, and I think that was FSR 2, not FSR 3, didn't have the shimmering DLSS did. So, yeah. I mean, if you go and look at that performance analysis that I did for that, that is one thing that I talk about, that the image stability of FSR, because that's what that is, was superior. Like, undeniably so. Because when you pause in The Witcher 3, the image freezes, but it's still being rendered. Like, it's kind of like this, except it doesn't soften in the background. In the background. So imagine if this were not softened. You could just see all the perfect detail there. So nothing should be moving, right? You do that, and here, let's... Oh, wait. Look at the trees over here. So you see how they're moving? Potentially that would see them... Actually, no. Let's just do it that way. And actually pause it. Because of the branches... Whoops. Sorry. Did not mean to have that behavior. I did hit control intentionally, though. But you have a lot of potential for... occlusion, disocclusion issues here. Because of the details to the branches, although... Wow, these are actually very thick branches. I mean, that's fair. It actually makes sense to do that, but there would be potential for error here, for shimmering, because of sub-pixel details popping in and out as they cross the center point of the pixel where they're rasterized. This is something, by the way, that MSAA deals with, but they don't want to use MSAA anymore because ray tracing is crap and it won't work with it. Anyhow. If I had on a one of those technologies, FSR, DLSS, or XeSS, because it's rendering at low resolution and then upscaled, what that means then is the distance between the centers of the points of rasterization is larger, so there should be more shimmering, because there's the distance. A branch could be larger or have further to move if it's the same size between those points before it would appear. Okay, that is what produces the shimmering in when you are doing the upscaling. Well, FSR 2, I'm pretty sure it was FSR 2 is what was in The Witcher 3, addressed that. It looked great. Well, and on a still image, it was fine. DLSS, though, had shimmer on a still image. This is best case scenario for these technologies. Absolute best case scenario. It is a still image. There's no variation in the data going into the upscaler, and yet there was variation in the image from DLSS. So it lacked image stability, while FSR was fine. So no, you don't need an AI core to figure out that stuff, because clearly even having them can introduce it where it should never occur. Now, FSR did have some other weaknesses that DLSS didn't necessarily have, but to me, those were less important to me. It's like the shimmering I'm going to notice while playing, but if it's like, oh, it's slightly lower detail, it's like, while I'm playing, I'm moving around, I'm not going to notice that detail, especially on something in the background. But the shimmering in the background, I will notice, so. As I said, NVIDIA is such a good marketing company, because they make people believe this, and then it's like, well, when you actually test it, that's not necessarily true. Now, let me actually look at this one. Are these... Why are these icons different? Like, that's radically different. Okay. Let me zoom these, because why not? These as well. Yeah, so coming back to the PS5 thing, that does mean that what you're seeing there is being achieved on this more modern hardware. So, as I said, I do believe that should imply we are seeing optimization being done that not everyone is doing, because they're like, we'll just let these other technologies solve the problem instead of, doing a better job ourselves. And it sucks. I hate that that's where we are. I mean, the one thing about it that is in a way kind of neat though is like with I'll continue to use Just Cause 3 for years. That is a good looking game and is well optimized. I'm saying that is a game that I could probably run on this laptop using just the internal GPU, not even the discrete one, and it'll still be very playable. And does it look as good as GTA 6? Probably not. But it does it look as good as other modern games? Probably. There's probably plenty of modern games that it looks just as good as, but it'll run much better because it was well optimized. Yeah, it's one of those funny things because in theory, the way it should be working. I have to pause and lean back for this a little bit. The way it should be working is early in a new console cycle. Like once it's like, okay, no, we're doing games for this new console, not the old one. You see a lack of optimization because it's not so needed. The console sets what the maximum performance is, what the maximum capabilities are, and it's like, well, we haven't gotten used to taking full advantage of that yet, so we can cheat and not optimize. But then as you approach the end of a console cycle, where now that's a limiting factor, you start having to optimize in order to get more out of it. Unfortunately, with these upscaling technologies, that has been pushed back. So that now you don't need to optimize even as the hardware is likely to be updated soon. So we're actually seeing a lack of optimization. We're not seeing a pressure to optimize as we have before. And I have no idea what this is going to mean in the future. Because in theory, we could end up getting new Xboxes, new PlayStations that'll be more powerful and so push back that pressure even more. Nope. Random phone call. Most likely spam. I don't know anyone in California. And hang on just a second, let me... Yep. I mean, in theory, I did apply for a job not that long ago that they would need to be contacting me first anyway. If you're cold calling somebody that applies for a job, you're an asshole. Like you should send an email, especially because like this is a work time. Yeah. Also, the company I applied for wouldn't have. There'd be no. It said California. They wouldn't be calling from California. I don't think the company's based in California. Well, no, I'm pretty sure it's not based in California. I could be wrong there, but it's a local office, so not even the right time zone, dude. But yeah, I don't know because we could be getting new consoles before we get, and therefore new hardware, more powerful hardware before we get sufficient pressure to optimize from the upscalers not being enough. But it does also remind me of something. I heard somebody kind of speculating, and I don't know because I don't follow this stuff too much. But might Microsoft decide to basically just go to an Xbox that is just more honestly a mini PC? I mean, both the Xbox Series and PlayStations, both of them are just mini PCs today. They're running a specialized operating system, yes. But in theory, I could definitely see with Microsoft just being like, it's going to be a mini PC. We're just going to do that. It's going to have specific optimizations in there, yes, but it'll be running a flavor of Windows. I mean, in a way, there's no reason not to do that for them. Because that helps them with having a singular, coherent experience, Windows operating system experience, I should say, across devices. But one thing just occurred to me that is actually very terrifying if they do that. Microsoft already doesn't really have engineers doing engineering, I guess. Well, the people driving decisions there are not necessarily the engineers. Like you hear those stories about how, oh yeah, we could solve this problem, but marketing department is like, nah, we want you to make this look fancy. It's like, but we have these bugs here that we need to fix. Yeah, but we don't think that fixing bugs makes us money. So we want you to do this instead. Yeah, I mean, yeah. And I could see making a single, consistent, coherent system across would sound like a good idea, because it's like, oh yeah, then that's, less work here. Yeah, but you're not letting us make the decisions that we need to make it sure that it's the best experience possible for people. So I don't know. I do not know. One thing though, well, okay, no. I could see them doing it one way, that if they did that, that may actually work. They won't, but it'd be neat. In theory, this mini PC, this hypothetical mini PC version of an Xbox, if it were also set up to be available as a server, so that way, you could do like, file server stuff, or even just how I like with Jellyfin on my server, having all my media, and then that is accessible anywhere on my network. That could actually be really neat. You just put it all in there, have it do that. And there are other things I'm sure that you could do. Like, you imagine, this I could actually see Microsoft being like, oh yeah, that would be a good idea. If you could have it be specialized for AI, like have the right hardware in there for AI, and then that way all Windows machines on your network can connect to it to do that processing. So almost be like the Framework desktop that has the really, really powerful AMD APU there that's like great for AI. Like if you use that as the basis for the console, then you could, for this mini PC console thing, then anytime you could connect to that to have a low-powered laptop do AI stuff. So that way you're not having to go online to the internet, you're able to do that. So it would be faster, it would be more secure, more private, in theory. It's like, yeah, that I could definitely see. That I could see, and might be able to pitch that to, somebody might be able to pitch that to Microsoft such that they would actually do it. Or internal to Microsoft and be like, yeah, we'll do that. Why not? Why not see what those look like? Although, yeah, I don't really have an interest in these things. In theory, you could also then have it stream gameplay as well to any system. Like, yeah, I could definitely see that, because that would be more so probably their Xbox One hope, because the Xbox One was meant to be like the one device to rule them all, hence the name. It did not succeed, but I could see if they did go to a mini PC kind of thing, that they could get it working. I could absolutely believe that. Yeah, that would be able to convince them. I gotta close up all of these windows. Okay. I think most of what I was seeing was just like they're working on a handheld with Asus, so something to compete with the Steam Deck. Which, I mean, whatever, we'll just see what happens. Oh, but, yeah, that is right. One thing I do want to add, though, in theory, if they were to do that, then they would also want to add an ATSC3 tuner in there, along with the, the coax in. Oh, if they did that, that would be very powerful. So right now, the standard for television broadcast in America, and possibly other places, but definitely in America, is ATSC1. Which, it's nice, that's what allows you to have 1080i or 720p HD signals being sent out. But they want to move to ATSC3. Now, there's many reasons why they can't at the moment, including that they didn't finish the DRM spec until later. LG is currently in a lawsuit with a company claiming that they have patents that LG is violating. It's all kinds of... It's one of those things where the FCC might end up pushing a technology before the market is at all ready to absorb it. Is it all ready to enable it? But the FCC is a government organization. It'll do it. But an aspect of ATSC3 is it's going to be more similar to the internet, in that everything will be sent in like data blocks, right? And so you can actually find, and technically it'll work with ATSC1 as well, but ATSC3 tuners that can be connected to your antenna, but then also connected to your network. So then any computer, any device on that network could potentially connect to the tuner and let you watch live television just over your network. So putting that into a future console or mini PC would actually make a lot of sense, because then you could have it handle, especially if it also had the storage on there to be a media server like Jellyfin. That would allow you to have that, and if you do game streaming from, that would be a one console to rule them all kind of thing. Absolutely. I'm just trying to think what else. Like, could you make that upgradable such that you could then... Yeah, in theory, you could then, if you keep a PCIe port in there, so that you could put in a new Microsoft-approved GPU to upgrade it to a new console, essentially a new generation. I can actually see that working to have quite a bit of a longevity, but they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't believe that would make me enough money. But it is, I could see that kind of technology that working. And because of the nonsense around ATSC3 at the moment, it could also be a way for that standard to go out. Yeah, that one's making those things. Which, what would that... I guess under crafting? Let's actually turn that up then. Or it could be under carpentry. I don't know. Job type carpentry. It's really hard to know. It really is. Because as I've said before, carpentry should just be like a subset of crafting. Anyway, hang on, I also just realized. Okay, so I'm gonna need to do this. Yep. I had a feeling that was gonna be the case. Okay, you're not gonna get it. Yeah, I'm just going to expand it out, I think. I know what I want to do. Which, okay, these are not yet built up. That's nice. Give me this stuff. What the hell are you talking about? There we go. It just kept wanting to click up here for some reason. Anyway, how long have I been going? Oh, I did not realize I've been going that long. But I'm gonna keep going for quite a while, as in days, not continuing this video longer. Because THQ Nordic has announced that Titan Quest 2 has had its early access launch delayed until the summer. Well. Just a little disappointing. It does make me wish a little bit more that I had actually tried to get into the playtest. But I don't regret it. I don't. It just makes me wish maybe could have, so then I could have provided some of the feedback. Because one thing I am concerned about, because they, along with that announcement, they put out that, oh yes, we had all this positive stuff and all that. And I'm just thinking, okay, but, and people saying that, oh yeah, it felt like a successor to Titan Quest. It's like, that's what your marketing is saying. I'm not sure I believe it. I'm sorry. It's just the whole having seen. Wow, there was a lot of stuff waiting. That I'm just remembering the video that they put out a while ago, and it's like, yeah, this is showing me things I expect out of Path of Exile or Diablo. I don't want to play Path of Exile or Diablo. I want to play Titan Quest. So I am still somewhat concerned. But it part of the concern is sometimes you can be given all the information you need to make the right decision, but people will decide, nah, I'm just going to focus on the stuff that I want to focus on. And it's like, well, we got feedback. Now I'm just going to do what I want to do. And it's like, this, absolutely, it happens. Hopefully that's not what's going to happen there. It's just, I must acknowledge that it is possible. Yeah. Oh, wow, they actually did do it. There. I think I will actually now do that. Mark all that to be removed. I don't think they will. I mean, I can make it happen. But I don't think they will get to that for a while. But yeah, and it's like the main thing is, to me, that I can remember when seeing it, is the UI as far as the health. I'm sorry, I get that the orb thing is what a lot of developers do now, but you're taking up screen real estate. Go back to the horizontal bars of Titan Quest 1. They were, in fact, more informative. I'm sorry, they were. As a matter of fact, they are, because there's no question. It's just a rectangle. So it's a linear thing you're looking at there. With an orb, a linear change is not... Is health volume or is health the vertical height? If it's volume, then losing 10 health, well, 10% of its health, 100 to 90% looks a lot bigger than from 50 to 40%. Just because if it's an orb, then you have a lot more width, so there's more volume in the center than at the top where it's narrow. So yeah, it is in fact confusing, or at least can be. So yeah, it's just... And then the other thing is with the health being, oh yeah, we're not going to use health potions because, we don't want you to have to manage all the inventory. It's like, what are you talking about? It was fine. Like I go around with like hundreds of these things, and it's not a problem because I can just go back, sell stuff whenever I start running out of room. But I know it's always there, so I can use the health when I need it to. When I need it, as opposed to the Path of Exile design, where it's a, nah, you've got this other thing, you've got this potion thing that just fills up as you attack, but it's like, okay, I've run out of, and there's so many charges. Okay, I've run out of charges, so I'm about to die, and you're telling me that the only way I can refill those charges so I can heal is to engage in combat. Yes. Do you not understand my situation? And I know I've gone through this before, but it's like, I can't go into combat because it would kill me. You're telling me that the only way to not die is to go into to get what I need so I don't die is to go into combat. How do you not understand that this is very much the opposite of what it needs to be designed as? I was like, fine, Path of Exile does that. That doesn't mean it's the right decision. It just means that's their decision. Titan Quest 1 used a different design. This is Titan Quest 2. Use that design. It has plenty of advantages to it. Are there some disadvantages? Yeah, there's the whole... As I said, it does take up some spot in inventory. There was plenty of inventory space in Titan Quest 1. Absolutely plenty of it. Okay, like management of it, not a problem. So you're trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist unless you also shrunk the inventory. The other thing the Path of Exile can allow, though, is now the vials can have special abilities attached to them. Like, I think there was almost like a shield ability that was attached to them as opposed to other things. It's like, okay, yeah, if you want to do that, but we don't need that. Or you can attach it to other things. I mean, it's like, again, you're trying to solve a problem that doesn't need to be solved, or at least doesn't need that specific solution. You can have a different solution. So, yeah, I do not know, but I am fully intending, when that becomes available, I will buy it and I'll start playing it, and I will start giving feedback. Alright? I will start doing that. Not as a reviewer, meaning I won't be... Well, no, I will be doing the recordings here. But it will be a... No, I bought the game. I'm gonna be leaving comments because I bought the game. I just have the experience of having reviewed games for over... Well, no, let's be fair, only about 11, 12 years. I haven't reviewed a game in over a year now, so... I shouldn't be saying that. I've been focused on other things. Sorry, it just... I've had other things to focus on. But yeah, and it's also, before that I had... Well, no, not alongside of that. I also had a decade of doing video game quality assurance work. I'm still doing software quality assurance work, so it's like... Yeah, that's all going to go into any criticism I would have for it. But, it wouldn't be a... The ultimate goal would not be to review the game. Because I've said it before, like, even with regards to this, and how long have I been going now? Yeah, I'll try to wrap this up. With this, I will report bugs in this, but I will not report... I won't, like, go onto the Steam forums and talk about, and say, oh, they should be doing this. Like, somebody brought up, you know, how, you know, I say that, you know, we should have this using SQL stuff, and, that he agrees with me, but I also, how I read it was, and thank you for the comment, read it as, yeah, I probably shouldn't talk so much about SQL here, because I'm not saying we need SQL in this. I'm just saying, this is something that there are databases, is likely a table in a database. And it should offer features like what you would find in tables in a database, so that you can filter and just... This is a clearly basic implementation of something that by its nature, I am assuming that the way it is actually within the system, within the game, is something that enables so much more. We really need to have that so much more here. And it's just, I use SQL as the example, but I probably shouldn't be talking too much about SQL because plenty of people don't know it. And my apologies for that. It's just a way for me to communicate. There is so much that can be done here. It annoys me that it's not being done. I'm not going to go onto the Steam forums or anything like that and complain about it there, because I don't want to be influencing the game in any way, assuming that I even could influence it, outside of these videos. Like, I don't play the game when I'm not recording, because ultimately when this exits early access, I will be doing a review of it. I want the entire record of my experience to be available. So yeah, but with Titan Quest 2, not that, well, yes, I would say that I'm not, at least not planning to review it. But I would be, sorry, I got a text and that distracted me just enough to derail my train of thought slightly. I would be playing it for my own purposes, in that I want to play it, and I will criticize it as just a user, as a player, instead of as a reviewer. It's just my experience as a reviewer will go into it. So, because, you know, I can't separate that from myself. So, all right. Yeah, and also I would argue that if they are still using that kind of Path of Exile Diablo design there, it's exactly what I was saying in that one video, however long ago that was now. And kind of what is said here. I want to play Titan Quest 2. It's like, I don't... You do want to stand out. You don't want to just be, oh, it's another game like Path of Exile. Another game like Diablo. It's like, okay, what are you going to do that's going to pull somebody away from that? Because I actually saw something not that long ago talking about how, like just this week of video, it had to do with writing. You know, somebody, science fiction author, who talked about how he recognizes that for science fiction, there isn't such saturation at the moment that if somebody reads his book, reads his science fiction book, that can lead them to read other people's science fiction books. That it is a rising tide raises all boats situation because you don't have such saturation that you find him, you like it, okay, you can potentially go and find somebody else's science fiction to read as well. And that's like, oh yeah, I really like science fiction, let me try this other book, kind of thing. Well, that makes... You can do that. I'm just trying to remember my train of thought to get back to with video games and ARPGs. Which also, by the way, part of the reason they gave for delaying Titan Quest 2 is because there's apparently a lot of other ARPGs coming out at the same time, so they wanted to have more space. And it's like... And it's just the whole... I can understand when a market is saturated, that means you want to be similar because you're trying to pull somebody away from what they already like. But when it's not saturated, and I don't believe many games, I don't believe many genres in gaming you can say are saturated at the moment, you can just do your own thing, and if it is good, they will come because they like it better, and it is distinct. And that's... Yeah, as I said, I don't think we're actually saturated for various game genres. In a way, I'll just say, I don't think that saturation within video games is even possible. That's even possible. And here's why. Well, it is only possible if the developers make it possible. So, this guy who was talking about his work in science fiction, he was also talking about a different genre, one that he does not write. But part of his point was that other genre can be very, very formulaic. So you can, in fact, saturate there because books from different publishers, different authors in that genre can still be very similar to each other because they follow the same exact formula. So then, yes, it would be saturated because you're saturating that specific formula. Science fiction, however, I don't know his science fiction works. I do have my own, though. I've written my own 2 science fiction books. Let's say 1 because I only recommend 1. I think the other isn't that good. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think I am, but yeah. I'm just going to assume that my science fiction book that I would recommend is sufficiently different from his that if somebody read it, they'd be like, oh yeah, this isn't the same thing. It's still science fiction, but it would likely be a different formula. So, even though, yes, it's the same genre, it's a different formula. So there isn't competition over the saturation there, because it's not saturated. Gaming would be the same way. Technically, any creative medium should be like that. Where so long as you're not just copying somebody else's design, you're not just repeating somebody else's formula, and I mean in a very formulaic way. So long as you're not doing that, then you don't have to worry about saturation. In some ways, you don't even have to worry fully about competition. I mean, yes, you have to compete with their time, but it still is. You would have people that's like, I like your design, I don't like their design, I'm going to come to your design. As opposed to it being I like this design, I can either spend it here in the game I've spent dozens of hours in, or I can go over here to try this. It's like, when you have that saturation, you're competing over the same customers. But when you are going something more original, then even if it's the same person, it might not be the same customer anymore because they will come to you because there's something else entirely that they are coming to you for. I'm just trying to think what may be a fair example. Well, okay, you know what? No, that'll work. That may work. To continue to use the ARPG example, Torchlight 1, Diablo 1, Torchlight 2, Diablo 2. Those are both those sequels, originals and sequels, for both of those franchises are very structurally different between the original and the sequel. So, both Diablo 1 and Torchlight 1, you're going into a dungeon that just has multiple levels, and you keep going down, 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 down. And eventually they change biomes and all that. Diablo 2 and and Torchlight 2, they are very wide and expansive worlds. With other dungeons, yes, but they're not always that deep. They might be like 2 or 3 levels deep. There are exceptions, I know, in Titan Quest 2 to talk about that, which is also like that design. It is a very large, broad world, like Diablo 2 and like Torchlight 2. There are some dungeons there that will be like 3, 4, even 5 levels deep. Those are typically where the bosses are, so they're the final spot to an area, to a region. But it's like, you would, even though, yes, it's an ARPG, you would not necessarily have competition between Torchlight 1 and Torchlight 2, or Diablo 1 and Diablo 2. Because it is a different experience. That's what I mean there. They are different designs, they are different formulas. It's still technically the same genre, but you could potentially have somebody who would be like, yes, I like that dungeon type design, just multiple levels to a dungeon. I like that design better than the flat world. So I'm going to play Diablo 1 or Torchlight 1 and not play Torchlight 2 or Diablo 2. I could see that being a thing. I don't necessarily know of anyone that has done that. I know that personally I can't really play Torchlight 1 anymore because there was a achievement in there that I got. It ruined the gameplay for me, which was to like beat the game in under 2 hours, and I did it. But that kind of rushing was so against how I normally play any game, but definitely of that genre, that no, it burned me. It has been years, but I believe if I were to start up Torchlight and try starting a new game in it, I would not be able to enjoy it just because of how that experience burned me out on it. But that's a separate thing. But it's yeah, I can believe though that there are people that's the kind of design they like. Maybe that's actually funny. It's been long enough, to my knowledge, since such a design has been used. You could almost like remake a Torchlight 1 or Diablo 1. You could make a new game that has that design, and it might actually sell very well just because it is different. So that is kind of funny to think about. I know I meandered someday, but I hope that the underlying point I was trying to make about saturation in a market or something creative like video games, like books, even movies, saturation in that market is the result of the creators making the decision to saturate it with the same thing, the same formula. It is not the result of people just having what they like and continue and sticking to it. Because two people, they may love the same exact game, they may put hundreds, even thousands of hours into it. If a new game comes out, one may like that other game and go to it, the other might not like it and stay where they are. But they still put in the same hundreds to thousands of hours in that original game. That's just how it is. And that's part of how it is, that you don't need to see it as saturation there. Do your own thing. If they like it, and you can market it to them, if you can get it in front of them, they will come. Those that want it will like it. So, yeah. So that was my rambling about how Titan Quest 2 should be Titan Quest. It should be, continuing in Titan Quest. It should, if it's copying off something else, that's them not doing their job right, in my opinion, because it's not. You know what? Here, this is another way to put it. I've said this before, maybe not so much here because it's not so relevant here, but as an author, I have a certain hatred for, let's say, distaste. That might be a better way to put it. A distaste for fan fiction. And there's a specific reason why. If you have an idea for a story, don't attach it to somebody else's universe. Don't attach it to somebody else's work. If it is your idea and it's a good idea, make it your own. Make sure it's your own. So don't make it fan fiction of, let's even say Titan Quest. Don't make it a fan fiction of Titan Quest. Because now you are attached to them. Whatever that does, you are now connected to. And maybe you don't want to go that way with it. So come up with your own way of doing it. Now, technically, Titan Quest is itself almost like a fan fiction. It's not. It's inspired by Greco-Roman mythology. Well, first, but it also has Egyptian mythology, Chinese mythology, Norse mythology, ultimately. I mean, it's like, you want to do a mythological-based thing. I mean, it's like, you can use any of those and it's still not fan fiction. But anyway. That's what but the whole, I would recommend against doing fan fiction purely because if it is an idea, that if it's your idea and it's a good idea, make sure it is your own. if Titan Quest 2 is basically using the UI from Path of Exile, then it starts to become like fanfiction for something else. So you're attaching yourself there instead of standing on your own, instead of making sure it is your idea, it is your game. It's the same kind of feeling I got. Alright, I think now I've rambled enough to hopefully have my point across, and if not, well, I don't know what more I can do, but say, see you next time.